What is up, everybody? Welcome back to not Offered Outlaws. Welcome back to MudRunner. And today I'm pretty much just going to show you guys how to use the airbags that come on my SEMA Dodge. Of course, I got a couple other mods here. And I'm basically going to use those to kind of show you guys the real purpose, honestly, in behind having the airbags. Now, obviously, I never run it this low because it really shouldn't sit this low. I usually run it about here, which is where I set it up kind of to run at. You know, small little lift, nothing crazy. But, you know, you literally, if you're on controller, obviously, advanced mode, airbags, and obviously you can see down here space and R. Space is what raises the airbags, and then R will lower them, which is pretty simple, pretty easy to do, nothing too crazy. And the real purpose behind the airbags is really just to tow, for the most part. I mean, granted, it works great on the SEMA builds just because they're SEMA builds, so it's kind of, you know, a thing that you do. If you're on controller, all you have to do is move your, after you click the button, you move your, I believe it's the left stick, left and right, to raise and lower it. But I use this mostly for towing, so like something like this, my Titan, or the regular Dodge that comes with the SEMA pack, has the same ability to move the back and left, or the front and back ones separately, and not have them, you know, moving at the same time, like this one. See, I have my ramps here, my front suspension, rear suspension. Now I'm going to go ahead and lower these ramps for a moment. I'm going to load up that little Jeep over there, and I'll show you guys the real purpose behind me using these airbags. Now, I don't know, it's probably laggy, honestly, because I don't have a gaming PC, and I say this a lot to, you know, when it comes to MudRunner, because I really don't do a whole lot of recordings of MudRunner itself for the lagginess. It's, you know, gets pretty laggy because OBS doesn't really like it very much, recording on my computer. Ooh, that's too far forward. I'm currently just using the keyboard and not my controller at the moment, so I have a bunch of cool stuff on this. Like, really cool stuffs. Ooh. There you go. Cool stuffs, right? Okay. So now you can see my back end's kind of squatted from the weight of that truck. Ooh. It's actually not. I have the truck sitting too far back then. Never mind, hold on. I like to tow properly and, you know, actually sit my vehicle in a proper location, which usually sits over the, pretty much in the middle is where you want to use your vehicle for hauling purposes. I should probably use this to move it easier. Burp. And it's kind of hard to reposition a vehicle once you've already parked it on the trailer, but you guys get the gist. So like if I have it parked a little bit too far forward, it's no biggie. You know, obviously my back end's slammed to the ground, so all I do is I go to my rear suspension there and raise it up. Of course, I can raise it about that high, which is a bit too high for towing, obviously. So I'll bring it down about here, and the front suspension will bring up. Actually, no, we don't need to bring it up. It's already sitting good. And of course, that pretty much allows us to tow with our vehicle sitting properly. Ooh, hells yeah. Like, I mean, it's really easy to use the airbags. Like, they really come in handy, as well as, you know, cut with the airbags. It is required to have CDT axles, which CDT axles, if you guys didn't know, those basically allow that diff there to collide with objects like bushes, branches, you know, rocks, things of that nature. And yeah, kind of clipped my trailer there on that tree. Woo! That was a little jank. Obviously, my Jeep's pushed forward more now, so obviously it's putting a lot more weight on the front of the truck. So, I mean, I can counteract that pretty easily by just lifting my rear end up. So, I mean, airbags, they work great for heavy hauling. You know, if you're heavy hauling something, you don't have to worry about your back end being slammed onto the ground. All you have to do is just raise the airbags up. It only works on applicable vehicles, obviously. It's usually just mods that have them. I've never seen any stock vehicle have them on it unless it was a modded stock vehicle where they had tweaked the suspension to make it a CDT suspension. So yeah, like if you guys are playing on like console or anything, this video just doesn't apply to you because you don't have mods, so you don't have airbags, so you don't have cool stuff like all of us cool people. Probably should drive the SEMA Dodge a little bit because I know I never really did a full video on that SEMA Dodge, but I haven't driven my Titan yet. You know, I really haven't. Like, I finished up my lights on it. You know, they're all proper and everything. Look at that. It's perfect, right? You know, like, I spent so much time setting up these lights last night that, you know, when it came to driving it, I was just tired. Still got a few lights to set up. I have Bluetooth drive shafts at the moment because I haven't set up the spinning drive shafts on it either. Although you don't really notice that until I, like, you know, go over stuff like that. And then if you're looking, oh god, jankness in the trailer. No need to haul that anymore, honestly. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the SEMA Dodge here and kind of show off some stuff, you know, that you guys see how you really drive a SEMA truck, man. I'll raise it up. And of course I can raise it all the way up to sit there, but I usually lower it a little bit. Yeah, right around there. And the SEMA Dodge is just such a nice little rig. Like, you definitely don't see SEMA rigs in MudRunner anymore. You saw them in, you know, the original spin tires with CCS. But even he didn't really go to super extremes like I've ended up going with this truck. Like, I put a 2020 Dodge interior in here, diamond cut stacks, custom trusses, custom control arms, you know, the airbags, the freaking custom grill, custom bumpers. Like, everything on this truck is custom. Like, it even has mirrors from a 2018 Dodge, the tow mirrors, instead of tow mirrors from, you know, an 07, because I like the 2018 mirrors. They're nice and simple mirrors. Definitely a badass truck here. I could turn my sound on and let you guys hear the sound, but, you know, the sound's just boring, right? Ooh, I crashed into that. If we can find some... I just literally tried to shift with A and Z there for a second. That's why I'm now in, now on free camera. The SEMA Dodge, like, it handles much like a real SEMA truck, honestly. Like, I have it set up. It's not too stiff of a suspension, but it's not a really soft suspension either. It's not made to flex, but it does end up flexing a little bit, just, you know, CDT axle-wise. Having it set up to be able to go up and down as much as it does, it ends up allowing it to flex in situations. But it's definitely pretty cool. Definitely not something you really see every day. Now, I know a lot of you guys have probably seen videos on this already. TC did a couple videos on it. He's a little bit of a re sometimes. Like, I don't understand why he took my 6x6 versus my buddy's Terminator's 2J Taco. Like, that's not the matchup you do with the Taco. You take my Trailcat against the Taco because the Trailcat's got a demon motor. So a demon motor versus a freaking, you know, 2JZ, that's like a perfect battle right there. Like, that's one for the ages, you know. But you know, who am I to you know, talk shit about what he does, I guess, right? Like, I mean, that's his channel. Shit. Oh yeah, I almost forgot I have my custom spiderweb rims too. It's nice indeed. Smexy custom truck, man. CDT axles. For you guys that don't know about the CDT axles, like I said earlier, you know, they allow you to collide into things. Now, a great way for you guys, you know, you guys are going to see this right here. All right. Oh, or not? What the? Apparently that doesn't have a proper collision on it, which is weird. Because my axle collides with things. I don't understand why it wasn't doing it right then. I don't know why it wasn't colliding on that bridge. That's definitely weird. But I can get it up here, right? Like, there we go. The only reason I'm climbing this tree right now is because my axle is actually colliding with the trees you guys see there. Normally, your axle would just clip through the tree with a non-collision axle vehicle, which I actually did bring one of those out here. I brought the JK out here, which, let me go back to the SEMA Dodge. And then recall the JK up here. Or not. Or not. Okay, well that's fine. Either way, I'll jump in the JK and I'll show you guys the lack of CDT axles here. So this video kind of not only shows for letting you guys know, oh god, how to use the airbags, but you know, you guys can also get a little bit of a rundown on CDT axles versus non-CDT axles as well. Something I know nobody's ever done, because there was only a couple other vehicles in game ever to have CDT axles. So there was never really anything to compare a CDT axle versus a non-CDT axle to, I guess. But we can try to climb this tree, and instead of our axle clipping in, it doesn't. It does. Or instead of our axle colliding with the tree, it doesn't. This doesn't have CDT axles. This is just a normal skinned vehicle and all that nice lovely stuff, as well as like another really crazy thing that, I mean, not everybody notices this, but I noticed that my IK does it, and everybody's IK really does it. It doesn't stay attached to the axle. Like if you watch in the back in there, oh wait, wrong side. You can see that you could see for a moment there that my shock head came out of my rim. I hope you guys noticed that because I flipped the truck. With the collision axles set up on a vehicle, it doesn't do that. Nothing moves out of place. Everything actually stays connected properly, no matter how much you fling it around pretty much. Like everything will stay where it's meant to stay. And I'll show you guys. Actually, I want to throw my bed cap on too. Or camper shell, whatever you want to call it. Now, just watch my axles here. I'm going to try to do the same thing. As you can see, instead of my bags, which are IK'd, swinging out, as you can see, they actually stay firmly placed in comparison to that jankness with the JK's coilovers coming out of the axle. CDT axles allow everything to stay in place pretty well. It's pretty nice, actually. There we go. Like, you can bash it around, and they're gonna stay in place, much like a realistic vehicle. Like, CDT axles, they just add so much realism to the game, guys. Like, it's so much realism added in. It's absolutely amazing. Woo. Don't hit the tree. Wheelie time. Oh, mans. That was crazy. We popped a wheelie off that tree. Shit, son. Oh, I know my crawler can do it. Can this? Woo! Yeah. That was perfect. Hit that jump, son. Room. And of course, I'm not slamming my gas, as you can see. You can see the gas, when I hit the gas, like it actually moves forward a bit there from the camera. Like, I'm really not, like, I'll run high gear a lot in my vehicles when I'm, like, on roads like this. Like, I'll run high gear just to kind of cruise it along. I don't have to worry about my gears shifting as I'm just trying to, ease along down a road. And I can literally just say, okay. Usually when I'm using a controller, I'm on the gas the whole time, but I throttle, I feather my throttle when I'm playing on controller, like, because I can actually give it, like, a quarter throttle and just be cruising along nice and easily. And of course, there's another cool thing that a lot of people probably never realize with any of my mods. For the most part of them, unless it's something that's really just not fast at all, you can get it up into the final gear, throw it in high gear, and it will rip. It's like a nitrous gear. It's insane. But yeah, just I guess a quick little reminder, again, of course, airbags wise, press R to lower them if you're on a, keyboard, and press space to raise them. Now, if you're on a controller, Obviously, all you have to do is click that button and move your, I believe it's the left stick, either left to go down or right to go up. Pretty simple to use airbags, but if, you know, just figured I know not everybody knows how to use them. Like I was driving with my buddy Throttle Jockey with one of my other Dodges. I have a single bed version of this with CDT axles, and it actually has like Dodge axles that I modeled and everything on it. We were out trailing, and Throttle did not know that he could raise up the suspension on it. So like we were driving through Frogs Creek, and it was like 90% done with it, and I'm like, buddy, you know you could raise that, right? I mean, I wouldn't say 90% done. We were like 70% through with like the trail ride we were doing at that time, and he didn't realize it. And then I told him how to do it. His controls were set up a little bit differently, so you know these like the controls I said, guys, are all stock controls. So if you have like your controls changed, you'll probably have different buttons to use, but look down there in the bottom of the screen for it to tell you what button to press. So yeah, hopefully this helps anybody that had any issues with my CDT axles in, you know, like getting them to actually raise and lower or figuring that out. As well, like sometimes when your CDT for the axle gets stuck in the mud, like if it gets too deep in the mud, it'll actually cause you to slow down in the mud, much like if your main CDT for your body hit the mud in any other truck. So that's another small little thing to note when it comes to the SEMA builds. Definitely a badass rig. And definitely, I'm making so many more rigs these days with CDT axles on them. So definitely stay tuned, guys, for all the awesome builds that I'm going to be doing in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Airbag life for the win. Nissan Titan probably not going to be released, in case anybody's wondering. And that Jeep JK that I was in as well, that is, I don't know if it'll be released. I built that for somebody. The build's pretty much done unless he finds any issue that he needs resolved in it, and it's on his workshop as well. So you know, yeah, like, I don't know what he wants to do with it, if he's ever going to release it or if he's just keeping it to himself. That's entirely up to him. So don't ask about the Jeep JK, guys. I have no idea on if it'll ever be released. But yeah, like I said about my Bluetooth drive shafts, they're there. There's no drive shafts in it yet. This is not a completed work yet. Got a bit of coating left to do. A few lights that need to be lit up too. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. And, yeah, happy trailing with airbag suspensions, man. Because it's fucking awesome, fucking. I'm a boss, man. I'll slam my Toyota and I'll fuck your woman. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be so messed up to say something like that to somebody, don't you think? Just be like, hey, man, I'm just gonna fuck your woman, man. Fuck him. No. I wouldn't be some asshole like that. At least not me, man. I'm a cool guy. Yeah. And my slammed Nissan Titan, man. Slammed as fuck. Slammed and cammed, man. Yeah, yeah. Ain't that some craziness? Yeah. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.